Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. You know, it may have turned out colder outside, but you're certainly warmly welcomed here in the City Council chambers. I thank you so much for being here. And I'm so delighted to be joined by so many important people that make Surprise in the West Valley so special. Being a part of the West Valley is an important part of our community identity, and I'm pleased to welcome some of our friends from nearby communities who are here today, like Mayor Lord from Goodyear. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And Barry Broom from GPEC, thank you for being here. Brian Youngworth, who is here from the RPTA. These are all partners that are very important to the success in Surprise. I want to thank Vice Mayor John Williams and our City Council for being here today. These are true leaders, making the tough choices and setting the vision for the years ahead. So thank you, Councilman Biondo, Councilman Alton, Councilman Woodard, and Councilman Hall for being here. I also want to acknowledge our hardworking City Manager, Chris Hillman, and the members of his executive team who are doing such a fantastic job keeping our services first-rate and efficient in difficult times. And I also want to acknowledge the many employees of the city who are here today. You are the ones who really make city government happen every day, and I thank you for being here. A little rain can't dampen the enthusiasm we feel this month for spring training and Surprise, where we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Surprise Stadium and our partnership with the Texas Rangers and Kansas City Royals. Our recreation campus is known throughout the valley and is evidence of how far we've come as a young city. Our citizen-driven tourism board brought us our first annual barbecue festival during the first weekend of spring training, part of a strategic plan to build a signature event in Surprise, a huge success. So thank you and congratulations. That same board is teaming with our arts community for an arts festival the last weekend of spring training at the end of March. When we facilitate citizen engagement, those citizens make great things happen. I was overwhelmed by the dozens of reporters from Japan here in Surprise covering Rangers pitcher Yu Darvish. It's really exciting for me to see that Surprise is on the air in Japan every day because of the Rangers' presence here in our community. As a viewer in Osaka wrote to us, people in Japan are learning the name of Surprise, Arizona. What an international reach baseball has, and what a game changer it has been for Surprise. Game changing is what I am about as your mayor. It is the promise I made to you to change and reform our government, and working in partnership with you to build Surprise as a powerhouse of jobs, education, and transportation. We have our challenges. Some of them are very serious indeed, which I've been warning you of since the campaign last fall. Today, I'm going to talk to you about those challenges. And today, I also want to talk to you about where I want to lead us over the next 4 years. We have grown to become the 10th largest city in the state, a community that must find its voice as a regional player in creating good jobs, educational opportunities, and efficient transportation. It is about finding that voice and making Surprise heard that inspired me to seek this office. And it is with a heart filled with gratitude and passion for our city that I stand before you today. During that fall campaign, we heard time and again that residents are concerned about transportation, getting to other parts of the valley in any reasonable amount of time, landing the jobs and businesses and attractions that a good transportation system will certainly bring to our community. Success in transportation is all about being heard regionally. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not waiting for the invitation to participate in making these things happen. Just a few weeks ago, I signed a Grand Avenue charter with my mayoral colleagues from around the West Valley and with ADOT, MAG, and Maricopa County. This coalition is pledged to work as a team to develop Grand Avenue as a high-capacity, multimodal corridor that respects the character of each of our communities. We recognize the enormous impact of a properly planned corridor on our community and the quality of life on our economy. I have taken a seat on the Valley Metro Board of Directors and continue my service on your behalf on the Regional Council of the Maricopa Association of Governments, guaranteeing Surprise is represented when regional decisions are made and regional priorities are funded. Vice Mayor John Williams and I just returned from Washington. We made valuable progress in alerting our federal representatives to our transportation needs. Our contacts there are critical to success here at home. All of us can agree that the intersection of Bell and Grand will always be a central focus of our community. Yet we can also agree it is inefficient, unattractive, and a frustration for our residents and the visitors our sports tourism industry hopes to attract. ADOT and MAG have been at odds over a solution for far too long. I've been partnering with both these agencies and have set an aggressive goal of having this project under contract by the end of 2012. When our stadium opened in 2002, the Loop 303 was a lonesome two-lane country road, about to be deluged with thousands of cars a day. Working together and consistently reminding our friends at the state that Surprise and the Northwest Valley always voted for road improvement funds, we at last saw constructions of crossings at Waddell and Cactus a few years ago. Today, the Surprise section of the Loop 303 is just a year away from being a complete 6-lane freeway from Mountain View to Peoria, opening a new artery of travel and commerce. Just 3 years from now, the freeway will be a complete all the way from I-10, linking the 10 to the 17 by way of Surprise, and in turn, linking us to the rest of the region. This is a great boon for tourism and for business that will create hundreds of millions of dollars of economic activity and thousands of new jobs. Building new jobs and businesses is a priority for building a thriving city in the new West Valley. In spite of our challenges, we have been successful in attracting major manufacturers and creating hundreds of jobs, and there are more good jobs for Surprise residents on the way. In spite of our challenges, Gestamp Solar Steel is running a new half phase in coming months with accompanying new hires. In spite of our challenges, Intrepid Tools, a company manufacturing parts for the aerospace industry, will be open in the next 6 months, creating dozens of new jobs. In spite of our challenges. Isn't that fantastic? These companies, like you, saw good things when you saw Surprise. Our partners at Prasada are committed and moving forward, and there is progress to report. Just a few years ago, we had to leave town to go new car shopping. Next month, Nissan becomes our 3rd dealership to open in Surprise. Now those jobs and those sales tax dollars stay here. Our dealerships are reporting success, doing much better than anticipated. Sands Chevrolet saw the future of Surprise and was first to take the risk of locating here at the height of the recession. As we move forward, though, I never forget that most jobs are produced by small businesses, and we are committed to helping them thrive. I'm leading the charge to have a top-to-bottom review of all business processes with the goal of cutting red tape. I'm launching a small business roundtable to create that ongoing dialogue so needed and so long absent at City Hall. I continue to explore ways to make permitting less cumbersome and more efficient for the business community without losing the integrity of our standards. Still, the tough times are not over, and many in our community need help in their quest for work and their quest for work closer to home. We have a community job site at surpriseaz.gov. Surprise employers post surprise-based jobs there. More than 50 employers are now participating with hundreds of jobs listed. A recent job fair held here at City Hall with nonprofit partners at the Communiversity and Goodwill drew hundreds of people. We've had several successful events such as this. And as long as there is a need to connect people with jobs, we will continue to have them. One thing we have learned together is that no community is attractive to families or to employers if in fact the education opportunities are substandard. We know that today's recovering economy is knowledge-based. We are committed to community leaders, as community leaders, to seeking educational options and excellence for our citizens, from early childhood through higher ed, and even continuing education for older workers returning to the workforce. It bears noting that our public and our charter schools have done a remarkable job responding to the growth pressures of the past decade. And just last week, we learned Dysart schools have not only risen to the challenge, but now have been rewarded as only the second school district in Arizona to become accredited by a national accrediting agency. Congratulations to Dysart. We are so proud of your accomplishment, and we are proud of our partnership with you. As a city council, we want our residents to have access to a great job, a great education, and to be fully connected to the region and all of the assets that it has to offer. To protect the great promise of Surprise, to be a West Valley hub for jobs, education, and transportation, we must assure our citizens and the financial community that our financial house is in order. And that means we have to get at the facts. The picture is at last coming into focus, and we are committed to getting to the bottom of our financial affairs. The bad news is that our current situation is more challenging than anticipated. We have tremendous work to do to implement real solutions. I want to talk candidly about these issues and present a bold plan for how we can work together to return sound fiscal principles to city government in an honest, transparent way. While it is not complete, we already know the news from our fiscal year 2011 audit will not be good. First, the audit will require the city to make adjustments to last year's budget. This will in turn have a negative impact on the budget we are about to craft. Second, we will have to fix the financial errors and poor decisions of the past. We have no choice but to use the city's savings account, our reserve fund, to pay back these misallocated dollars. Third, these actions will take the city reserve fund to virtually zero. There are additional factors that will push our budget about $3 million into the red this fiscal year. Finally, the important financial foundation policies that we established last spring require that we maintain a 2-month reserve of about $13 million. We must get back to a healthy reserve. The fact is, when we are forced to start from zero, getting to $13 million will be a huge challenge and will require many, many difficult decisions. As we all know, this is not the first time Surprise has faced financial difficulties. These issues existed long before many of us arrived, but we now own it. It is our responsibility as sound fiscal managers to fix this once and for all. Unfortunately, before it gets better, it gets more challenging. We are expecting a qualified audit for fiscal year 11, which means further audits are now necessary. Outside auditors will look at our development agreements and impact fees going back to the year 2000. These audits will take approximately 8 months and could require us to make additional cuts from next year's budget. The fact is, past mismanagement, as documented, will have longer-term financial impacts. This could limit our opportunities to provide the level of services residents of Surprise have come to expect. Every city in this nation has faced serious financial challenges during this Great Recession. In recent years, Surprise did its best to address the obvious shortfalls that appeared on the surface without having a full understanding of the foundational problems that had been laying in wait for over a decade. It is unfortunate that so much time went by looking the other way, while precious resources were directed to projects or services that gave us a false sense of security, or even worse, were directed to political spoils. President Ronald Reagan spoke eloquently about the smallness of our politics, the ease with which we are distracted by the petty and the trivial, and our chronic avoidance of tough decisions. Surprise has suffered far too long from poor financial management. I'm confident the team we now have in place, the very people who have worked so hard to bring these problems to light, are capable of completing their work and helping create solutions. And as your mayor, I join a city council that has the resolve to solve these issues. We all agree that at the end of the day, we are talking about your money. You are the taxpayers of Surprise. You have entrusted us to protect your tax dollars. This mayor and this council will fulfill that obligation. This is an unfortunate moment in our young history as a city. However, we cannot let ourselves be crippled by the past. We must learn from it and move on with bold solutions and a vision of the true promise that lies ahead. I promised you the facts as soon as I could get them. And the fact is this: 1 year from now, we will finally have a complete picture of the state of our finances and be well on our way towards solving our problems. So where do we go from here? A major focus of my campaign for mayor was a promise of more fiscal accountability and transparency. So today, I'm announcing a 5-point plan to bring stability to our finances. In our plan, you, our residents, will have an open window into the review process. Step 1 is to bring on 2 accounting firms. One firm will audit the way we collected fees. Another will look into the way they were spent. Both firms will review the city's development agreements going back to 2000 to ensure financial obligations are correctly recorded on the city's books. This analysis will ensure the city has recorded financial activities correctly and recommend adjustments in cases where mistakes are found. As you can see, this is a complex process and could take approximately 8 months. Step 2 goes straight to the heart of my commitment to transparency in government. I'm inviting the public and the council to develop ways we can maximize transparency during this audit process. Today, I'm inviting you and the council to bring ideas to our workshop tomorrow evening when we hear the details of our immediate financial challenges. Let's talk about getting our residents engaged and keeping everyone informed as this lengthy audit process moves forward. We have an obligation to be transparent. It is time to take a stand for openness and involve our residents in that discussion. Step 3, the city will make monthly audit status reports to our residents until it is completed. Step 4, The final audit results will be made publicly available in about 8 months. Step 5 is communicating the final results. We will be aggressive in setting meetings around the community to ensure all residents understand the steps we're taking to address these issues. As you can see, there is much work to be done and a long road ahead. And as your mayor, be certain this council has your back. We never forget that we are talking about your money. You have entrusted us to be vigilant in protecting your tax dollars and prudent in how those dollars are used. The election last fall was about change at City Hall. It was about telling the truth. It was about taking responsibility. And it was about setting a reliable course for the future. People in Surprise want good jobs, streets that move traffic, and services that are reliable. And as I stand before you in my first State of the City address, I can tell you we have the plans in place to achieve all of those goals. And I can strongly attest, after almost 3 months on the job, that you have a mayor, a city council, and a city workforce committed to delivering on your expectations. Even though the state of our City Hall is a work in progress, the state of our city as a community is a story of ongoing progress. As your mayor, I look forward to reporting to you along the way our successes and our challenges, and always working with you to make our community stronger and better. Thank you.